Yo guys, what's up? So I'm back. I made a video explaining why I'm back and why I even left in the first place. My camera busted. It got ran over about 5 or 6 years ago, and I just never made another video again. I've been kicking myself all these years for the fact that I haven't bought another camera and started making videos again. But now that our phones are capable, uh, I've been using my phone and I'm back on YouTube. I've been making videos. Some of you guys might have already seen my videos that I've posted lately of my son on his bike. My son's got a talent for biking and he's just really coordinated, so I've been excited about that. And I've always had a lot of drive for wanting to be just to be a YouTuber and to potentially maybe make some money off of YouTubing. I've always thought that would be fun, and I feel like I have somewhat of a personality for YouTube. So yeah, I'm back and I'm making videos again, and they're gonna keep coming. I'm not gonna stop this time. I bought another camera, and not only that, my phone, this new iPhone 14 is great. I'm using it right now. It's making good videos. But I thought I would make a video on reselling again, because all of my old videos were reselling videos, or most of them were reselling videos. And that's how I gained most of my subscribers back in 2016-17. So I thought might as well keep at it and keep making reselling videos as well. I don't want to let down the fans that started out watching my videos, that supported me in the beginning. So I got to keep at that. Just to put it out on the table right away, I am still a reseller. I still resell. Not full time anymore. I could be doing it full time, but I'm going to talk about why I'm not doing it full time in this video. I've been thinking about a lot of things, and I wanted to make a video on what are the most important things to think about if you want to be a successful reseller, the pros and cons of being a full-time reseller. And one thing that I think is most important, I'll talk about first, that goes along with being a full-time reseller. It's a thing that I didn't really think about before I became a full-time reseller. And yeah, it hit me like a ton of bricks about 3 years into reselling full-time. I was doing great financially. It was just that I didn't think about it beforehand. So I ended up going to barbering school. I was reselling on eBay and some other platforms full time for about 5 years, until I decided I needed to do something, not stop reselling, but I felt like I needed to do something where I'd be around people and I'd have a schedule and a routine. Because I'm in sobriety, and working from home started getting to me. So yeah, that's mostly the first thing I'm going to talk about, but I got a lot of topics that I want to touch on. This video is mostly going to be about the pros and cons about being a full-time reseller, or just a reseller in general. But mostly if you want to be a full-time reseller and have that be your main income and your job, basically. So I'll just jump right into it. The first thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to say, I'm going to go over the pros and the cons, but I think I'm going to start out with the cons first, so that way I can end the video with the pros. I think the biggest thing that I just mentioned is one major thing you got to think about is that if you're going to be a full-time reseller, most likely you're going to be by yourself a lot. You might be, having a lot of fun. It's definitely fun too, being by yourself. You get to go shopping for inventory that you're going to put on on eBay, and the things you're going to resell. So you get to go shopping and everything. But for the most part, I would think you're going to be by yourself, maybe with a friend, maybe with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. What happened with me was I was doing it full time, killing it, having a blast. I loved going out and hunting for items, and even hunting for items online that I could buy to resell. But later on, I started getting lonely, and not really lonely, but just being by myself too much and isolating in the house a lot. And even when I would go to the store, I would just be by myself a lot. And in the beginning, I really liked that. because I like being by myself. I kind of like it makes me think of good ideas when I'm by myself, and I get more done. And usually I got the hustle a little better because I'm not sidetracked by, you know, hanging out with friends or whatever. But there is a big negative side to that. Isolation for someone like me is not a good thing, because I've never had depression or anything like that, but I'll slip back into my old ways with how I'm in sobriety now. I'll slip back into my old ways if I'm being alone, being by myself too much, with drinking and using some other illicit substances. And yeah, it just goes, and it can turn into a really ugly, dark cloud for me really quickly, and everything starts to spiral out of control. So yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is one big thing to think about is if you're going to be a full-time reseller, you probably will be by yourself at home a lot. Or if you get an office to keep your inventory at, or a store or whatever, you're probably going to be at that store by yourself a lot. When I was doing it, my girlfriend would get up, and me and her were together every morning, but she'd go to work, and she worked 2 jobs. She had been a server at a restaurant and a bartender at a restaurant for a really long time, for almost 10 years. So she was still working and doing that. And yeah, I would be at the house or out shopping all by myself all day long, every single day. So yeah, unless you got a friend that wants to do it with you, or a girlfriend that wants to do it with you, that would definitely be a big plus. That way you got somebody doing it with you, and you're around somebody else all the time. So that's a big plus if you can do that. But yeah, I didn't think about that before I had started being a full-time reseller. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you're gonna be a full-time reseller, your family and friends are gonna go off to their jobs, go off to do what they do, and then you're gonna be by yourself. So that's number 1. Number 2 is let me think. I think this is probably the second most important one. It's another con to being a full-time reseller. You're gonna fully rely on how much you sell, which also means how much you put into the business, how much time you put into finding items for your inventory, and how much time you put into shipping things out to your customers that have bought things. So how much time you put into your business is how much you're going to get back out of it. And that's a plus. If you're putting a lot of time into it, that's a plus. But the downfall to that is people that have a 9-to-5 job and they go to their job every day, they've got a guaranteed paycheck every week. The con for a reseller is that you don't have a guaranteed paycheck every week or every month or whatever. And if there's a slow month where you sell a ton of stuff during Christmas time on your online store, and you make a bunch of money, and you're not worried about money at all, you pay all your bills, you're good, and then January rolls around and people aren't buying stuff as much, and you have a really slow month, yeah, your income's probably going to be half of what it was in the month of Christmas time. So yeah, it's just, you really gotta be smart with your money. You've got to put how much work you put into your business is how much money you're going to get out of it, and just how much clientele you're going to get out of it, because it's not going to make it money on its own. You got to be on the grind, finding products to sell, putting them on your website, and then shipping them out. So yeah, people that get a paycheck, that's definitely a big bonus to going to a 9-to-5 job. All right, so that wraps it up for the second thing. Let me think. What was the third thing I was gonna touch on? Okay, yeah, I thought of it. The third thing I was thinking of was, I'm gonna compare it again to somebody that works a 9-to-5 job and goes to their job and gets a paycheck every month or whatever, versus being a full-time reseller and being a business owner, self-employed business owner. Say for the person that works a 9-to-5 job, they work really hard all month long, and they know that they want to take a vacation during the summertime to go on a cruise or something for a week or two. They don't have the freedom to just go on a vacation if they work a 9 to 5. They got to get it approved by their business, the business that they work for, and all that. But they can put in a request, and hopefully it'll get accepted. And it's pretty easy. They just keep going to their job and work up until their vacation, and then they've got that time off when the vacation comes. For the self-employed business owner, it is very nice that you have the freedom to just go on vacation pretty much whenever you decide you want to go on vacation. But the tricky part is that you can go whenever you want to go, but you're going to stop making money and you're going to have no income while you're out of town. And you probably would at your 9 to 5 too. You probably won't be making money when you take a vacation. There is jobs out there that will pay you for vacation pay. But a lot of jobs also don't pay for that. But when you're self-employed, you're not going to make any money, for one. And then for two, customers may be buying stuff on your platforms from your inventory. And if you don't ship those items out right away, from what I've noticed in the last few years, or the last several years that I've done this, if you don't ship those items out right after they buy them, you start getting negative feedback or negative reviews and negative comments of people saying this seller took forever to ship out my item. So that's a big thing to think about. The best way that I've navigated that is by going on my eBay. I sell a lot of stuff on eBay, by the way. That's my biggest seller, is eBay. So before I want to go on any vacation, I just got to plan ahead pretty well. And the best thing that I've found is to shut your eBay, or not shut it off, but there's a tab you can go on eBay and on your store, and you can turn it on to vacation mode, so that when people go onto your store, they see that you're on vacation until such and such date. So that way they can still buy items, but it shows them that you're not going to ship this item until you get back from vacation, and it'll show the date right there so the customer can see that. But I've noticed that I tried doing it that way for a while, and people could still buy stuff from my store, and it would show on the listing that their item will not get shipped until I get back from my vacation. But I noticed from trying to do it that way for a long time that customers would still leave bad reviews or leave negative feedback on my eBay. And so I've just learned that it's best to just shut your store off to where people cannot buy things while you're on vacation. I'm really big on keeping 100% positive feedback or 100% 5-star reviews. I like to stay at the top tier of a seller. So every time I go on vacation, I just turn my store on to, or I shut it down to where people cannot buy stuff. The negative side to that for me is that I don't sell anything at all while I'm on vacation, so I'm literally making no money at all. And the reason why you'd want to do vacation mode is because that way you're still making money while you're on vacation. So it's kind of tricky. I hope you guys followed along with me on that. But if you're on vacation mode, if your store is on vacation mode, you'll still be generating revenue and still be selling things and making money. But the downside is that you'll probably get negative reviews or negative feedback. If you just shut it down completely, there's no risk of you getting any negative feedback. So that's the way I like to do it, and I just take the hit on not selling things and not making money while I'm on vacation. So yeah, that's the way I like to do it. It'll help your store be, just at the highest level to where you're getting the best reviews and so forth. All right, you guys, I want to keep the cons list as short as I can, but also go over all of the topics that I wanted to go over. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting right now, but if there is and I think of one later, I'll make another video about it. The fourth and the last con that I could think of for being a full-time reseller is so you lose money sometimes, basically. If a customer wants to return something, Usually I'll try to navigate and I'll message the customer and say, hey, what was the issue? I talk as nicely as possible and just tell them, hey, I'll get this worked out for you. I definitely don't want you to be upset with your purchase. We'll get it handled. You'll get your money back if you just want to return it, or we'll get you a replacement if you want to exchange it. I just lost my train of thought. So basically what I was going to say is the con side is that you got to deal with people wanting to return stuff or unhappy customers. And sometimes you just have to take a hit on things. And sometimes when I'm dealing with a customer, most people are pretty good. Most people, if they want to return something, they're pretty easygoing for the most part. They'll just return it and you refund them and you get your item back. But then there's some people that are just not going to be happy with no matter what you do, whether you refund them or whether whatever. Like, you could do everything you can possibly do, send them a replacement, and they just still won't be happy. Basically my point is that sometimes you just have to give them their money back and they keep the item. This is very few cases, but I always want to make sure, again, like I just said, I want to make sure I keep 100% positive feedback. And if it feels necessary for me to just take the hit on a $50 item, or maybe even sometimes a $100 item, I'll send them their money back before I even get the item back, just so that they don't leave me negative feedback. So the negative side to being a reseller is that you might have to lose some money sometimes, but the bonus is that you're probably making a lot of money if you're having to do this, because you're probably selling a lot of things. If you have a customer that tries to, that's difficult, you're probably selling a lot of things at that point, because that doesn't happen very often. So yeah, you're probably making enough money at this point, if you're at that point, to where you can afford to do that. And it sucks, but you just gotta bite the bullet, swallow it, and just send them the money sometimes. But you gotta use your gut instinct and decide if you feel like you might get negative feedback, you just gotta decide how you're gonna make this customer happy. At a 9-to-5 job, you're not going to ever have to pull money out of your bank account or pull money out of your pocket and hand it to a customer if they're super mad. The business you work for is going to have to do that. So yeah, that's the negative side to being a business owner, is sometimes you just got to do that. Sometimes you got to take the hits. So that's just something to think about. If there's anybody new that's watching this, that's new to reselling and wants to become a reseller, keep that in mind. I feel like I'm not being cocky when I say this, but I feel like I've been pretty skilled at doing this, and it's just something in my nature that I love to buy and sell things. So I feel like I have the experience and the mindset for being able to teach somebody how to do this. So yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to make a video like this for people that want to become a reseller, or that maybe somebody who already is a reseller and just maybe needs some, I don't know, a little bit more guidance to help them with some things that they're struggling with or whatever. But yeah, I hope this video is helping, and I'm going to go over the pros too. So that's what we're going to touch on right now. All right, so the pros. The pros are kind of obvious to me, but maybe not to some others. The best things about being a full-time reseller are that, like I said in the beginning of this video, the more work and the more effort that you put into your business, the more money you're going to make. At a 9-to-5 job, you can't really make more. You're just still making hourly. I guess you could work more hours, and you could make a little bit more money hourly. But yeah, if you just put your brain, if you work your brain and think about things that will sell well, and just find inventory and put your time into it, you're gonna start making more and more money, especially with reselling. Yeah, your store is gonna grow, your inventory is gonna grow, your customers are gonna grow. All of it, in a nutshell, is gonna grow. So that's the bonus, and that's what I really like about it, because I really like to do this kind of stuff, and I like that the more I put into it, the more I get out of it, and the more money I get. So the more I can save, the more cool things I can buy for myself, nicer house, nicer car, all of the things. So yeah, that's number one, and that's the one I like the most, I think. So yeah, number two. Number two is, I can't remember, what was it? The pros. Oh yeah, just like I said in number two of the last portion of the video. If you want to go on vacation, you can pretty much go on vacation whenever you want. Just keep in mind the things I just talked about. You got to make sure your store is either shut down or on vacation mode. Again, I recommend shut it down completely so people can't buy stuff. That way you don't risk getting bad reviews. But yeah, you can pretty much go on vacation whenever you want. You can do whatever you want on a daily basis. You can make your own hours. You can start working as early as you want or as late as you want. You can end the day and go to bed as early as you want. Or even in the middle of the day, you can go get lunch whenever you want. Or you can say you want to make it a short day and your buddies hit you up and you want to go snowboarding or go hiking or whatever. You can just end it at 12 p.m. and just go do whatever you want to do. So that's really nice. There's some weeks where I will put in, tons of hours and work like 7 days in that week. And then the next week I'll work 2 or 3 days. And, I like doing this. So maybe I'm, downplaying that a little bit because I like to do this stuff. So some of it doesn't feel like work to me, but I'll put in work on some things that some other people that I wouldn't consider work, but some other people would consider work. But yeah, basically my point is you decide. So that's really nice. I like that a lot. Actually, that might be my favorite one. I like that a lot. But there's the other side that I mentioned too. You got to be careful about being alone too much, about not putting in enough time into this, not having a routine or a schedule, because that can be bad for a lot of people. I've learned and noticed. I'm in a program, in a 12-step program, and they teach you strongly about routine. You need a routine. But you don't want to get complacent and do the same routine over and over again for too long. But yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind. So yeah, I hope that one's good. I hope you like that one. That one's a big bonus. All right, so number three. I could go on and on and on about the pros or the pros of being a reseller, but I'll make number three the last. Actually, number three is definitely the best too. So number three is a good one to go out with. There's so many more, like I said, but so number three is, if you're a full-time reseller, you're a business owner. And there's so many good perks that come along with that. Your friends think it's cool. Your family thinks it's cool. They like to ask you questions about it. They talk to you almost like you're a celebrity in a way. Not a celebrity, but just a cool guy that just has fun and doesn't have to work really, even though it is a lot of work. Depending on how much you love it. I love it. It doesn't feel like tons of work to me. The thing I have to watch out for is the isolation part, isolating too much. But yeah, it's still a lot of work. You gotta be dedicated. You gotta go to the stores all the time. You gotta ship the stuff out. You gotta, if a customer's upset, you gotta just still be really nice and just agree, and let them be right about everything, even if you feel like they're not. But yeah, I'm not gonna be negative because this is a pro. This is definitely a pro. Yeah, your friends, there might be a little jealousy involved because your friends are definitely gonna think it's super cool, especially if you've been able to become a full-time reseller rather than just reselling for a little extra money. Over the years when I was a full-time reseller and that's all I did, all my friends your friends want to buy shoes from you because they want to be a part of it somehow too, and they just want to get the hookup. And yeah, everybody just thinks it's so cool. You kind of get put on a pedestal everywhere you go. And people kind of have a hard time believing that that's all you do. My brother and sister would always be like, well, are you gonna get like start working or like get a job or anything? And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like I am a full-time reseller. Like that's how I make a living. And after a few years, they started seeing like, dang, he really is doing good with that. So yeah, it's something to look forward to. The more, the better. The more stuff you start selling, the better you're gonna do, and your family and friends are gonna start noticing like, dang, he's really doing it. And but yeah, you just got to give it time. You got to give it your dedication, and it'll get there. So basically, in a nutshell, what I just tried to say was, you're the cool guy. You're the cool guy, the reseller. Hey, I got cool stuff for sale, and you get to buy things that you like too. So you got all this cool stuff at your house or at your office or whatever, which I love that too. And then, yeah, I basically, I'll just go over kind of all the other things I already said about the pros. Like you get to go on vacation whenever you want. You can work as long during the day as you want, or as little throughout the day as you want. You can get up in the morning if you're an early bird like me, you can get up at 6 still. Or if you feel like getting some extra sleep, you can sleep till 10. And I do that sometimes. I can't sleep late, so I would do it more if I could. But yeah, basically I'm trying to say you can do whatever you want. You can make your schedule however you want. I will say though, with that said, it's not as easy as people make it out to be. I don't want to be negative and just say it's not easy, but you can't just sleep in all the time. You can't go on vacation all the time. It's not how it works. You do get some freedom on choosing when you want to do those things and how you want to do them, but you do got to set up a good little system. And then I think this might be my favorite. I think I've said it's my favorite on a lot of them already, but this could very well be my favorite. You can make a lot of money. You can make lots of money. I think if you're just patient, like me, I started out with, I think it was 7 to 10 grand, which is a decent amount of money. I got lucky and I was making money at the job I was working at before I started reselling. And I started reselling while I was a manager at this restaurant. And I was just doing it on the side, like a side hustle. I was reselling as a side hustle. And I was managing full time at a restaurant. And I saved up a bunch of money, and I wasn't saving it to be a reseller, actually. I was just saving money. I've always been a saver. I was saving money like I always do. And I was reselling, and all of a sudden, actually, I had only started reselling for about a month or two, and I realized I could probably make a living doing this, and I didn't like my job where I was working at the restaurant. I hated it. I was overworked. I was underpaid. I made okay money, but I was working my butt off. I was working 70 to 80 hours a week. It was exhausting. And about a month or two after, it was like a month after I started reselling on the side, I was able to just quit my job. And the owner of that place was just, he wasn't cool about it. I tried to be cool with him as I told him, but he was disrespecting me already, and I just said, whatever, dude, all right, I'm gone. And it was scary though. I took a leap of faith. I didn't know if it was really going to work out. I didn't know if reselling was going to be able to pay all the bills. I didn't know if I was actually going to be able to make a full living off of just reselling alone. But I've always been a person that likes to take chances, and you know what? I'm gonna go for it. And I believe in myself. That's one big thing. You gotta believe in yourself. I always believe in myself, and when I do believe in myself, and I think I can do something, I usually put all of my energy and all of my effort into that. And it worked. It ended up working. I think the key thing was I just had to be patient and know that I got off track right now. My point was that I know that I only have 7 to 10 grand right now, so I'm going to buy as much inventory as I can. And that was a decent amount of money, but I was only able to buy about I actually only like $5,000 worth of stuff because I had to have extra money so I could pay bills and stuff like that. But I spent about $5,000 on inventory. It took about a month to find items to spend that $5,000 because I didn't just spend it all one day. I was buying items, and I spent the entire $5,000 like pretty quickly. And then you just turn it over, and you just turn it over, and you just turn it over. And what I was talking about being patient is just know that if you just keep doing this and putting trust in yourself and putting trust in doing this reselling thing, that 7,000 or 5,000 is going to turn into 10 and then 15 and then 20. And you don't spend that money. You take that money and you buy more inventory, and you buy more inventory. And when it's 25,000, you buy more inventory. And when it's 30,000, you buy more inventory. And I got to point out, you don't always see your money in lump sums. You don't see, like, when I had 7,000 and then I had 15,000 and then I had 25,000. I didn't see my money. Like, I didn't see $25,000 once I started making some money, because you usually have a lot of inventory and your money is in that inventory. So you don't always, you just gotta put trust in how it's working. And you also gotta, do bookkeeping and I like to keep a really good record of the sales and my money and how much money's coming in and how much money's going out. That's a really smart thing to do, especially for tax season. But yeah, you don't really get to, it's kind of nerve-wracking because sometimes you feel like you're not making that much, but it's just because you're buying more inventory and buying more inventory and selling stuff. And eventually you're going to start noticing that, dang, it's been a year and I've paid my bills. I've had a lot of fun this year and I have a big room full of inventory. I'm obviously making money. So I really like that. That's just been cool. I only said all that because I think there was a whole year that went by, especially the first year, that I felt like I wasn't really making enough money to make a living at this. But I just kept trusting it, kept putting a lot of work in. And looking back after that year was over, I was like, dang, I paid bills. I have a decent, nice house. I have a car. I bought a car this year. I bought gifts for Christmas for people and did all that stuff. And it's been a whole year. And I have 10 times the amount of inventory that I had at the beginning of the year. And I lived and had fun and paid bills and did all that. And I still have some money saved in the bank. So obviously I'm making good money at doing this. So then you just do it again the next year and you keep going and you keep going. And eventually you're going to have a warehouse full of shoes. I don't have that. I at one time I did have a couple storage units full of inventory and that was going really good. But like I said earlier in the video, isolation really was taking me out and I went back to drinking, and drinking made me spiral out of control. I sold a lot of my inventory and wasn't buying more inventory. And so my inventory went way down because I was selling it and not buying more. And I was spending my money, or I was using the money off selling my inventory to pay bills and live. And I went through barbering school. And actually, all of my inventory that I had when I started barbering school carried me through barbering school without having to work a full-time job. So this business has benefited me a lot in my life. I was able to go to barbering school and be comfortable the entire time I was in school. I had money the whole time. I squeaked by a little bit right at the end. And the worst thing is that my inventory is very small right now. I've been a barber 3 years now though, but I've just put a lot of my heart and soul into barbering and learning how to be a really good barber and a really good fade expert. And so I've just kind of treated my reselling business as a side hustle for right now, but I know it's okay because I'm just putting it on a little. I'm pumping the brakes on reselling just so I can master barbering, and I have a lot of fun at the barbershop. It's not just about becoming a good barber. I think for me, it's about being really good with people, having good conversations, and doing really good fades. Hopefully you can do both at the same time. Barbering's been a blessing to me too. But I know that it's okay that my inventory has shrunk down, because I'm gonna, any day now here, I'll definitely make a video about it. I'm gonna dive back in, start getting my inventory built back up. And I'm actually really excited because I'm gonna make videos and show you guys what I do, how I do it. And I'm gonna start out with, I'll show you my inventory. It's like 10 pairs of shoes. I only have like 10 pairs of shoes left, a couple jackets, and literally 5 jackets, a couple pair of basketball shorts and stuff. There's not very much. So when I start really diving back into reselling again and putting more time into it, I'll show you guys how I build it back up, and I'll make videos describing and explaining how to build it back up. from the start to there's no end. There's no end, but from the start until infinity. So yeah, I hope you guys like my videos. I would really appreciate it if you guys like, subscribe, comment. I'm trying to build up my YouTube. I've always had a dream of being a YouTuber as well. I love vlogging. I love being on camera. My son seems to have a lot of fun making YouTube videos. He thinks it's really cool being on YouTube. He saw himself the other day on his iPad. He was watching his iPad and he goes, "Daddy, I'm on YouTube." So yeah, it would mean a lot to me if you could help us grow this channel. If we start making money on this channel, it'll totally go all into my son and maybe even into the reselling business and just back into my videos. I really would love to grow this channel. Maybe hopefully get somebody who can record for me so I can be in more of the videos with my son. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share the videos, tell your friends, please. It would mean so much to me. That's the end of this video. Peace.